This morning I woke up to the kind of headline you only see when a country crosses a line. A billionaire with tentacles in aviation and IT detained in Moscow on suspicion of a decades-old contract killing. And the key witness who pointed at him? He dies hours after testifying from heart failure inside a police car full of the policemen next to the police headquarters. From heart failure, unexpectedly. We've heard this phrase before, and today I'll show you why this case is a tipping point and how a quiet terror is setting over Russia again. Not with show trials like in the past, but with falls and heart failures. Welcome to 1937 of the 21st century. What happened in plain language? Last night, into October 2nd, Moscow police detained Ibrahim Sulimanov, a shadowy billionaire on suspicion of murder from the past years. Well, very past years. Today, the Basmanny court ordered him jailed for 2 months. Investigators probe 2 contract killings. The labor union leader Gennady Borisov, killed in 1999, and the former Federal Service for Financial Rehabilitation and Bankruptcies chief Georgy Tal, killed in 2004. That's not some telegram rumor, that's court reporting and mainstream outlets. But here's the chilling part. One of the alleged accomplices, Abakar Darbyshev, who reportedly testified against Sulimanov, died within hours of his testifying. Officially, he died of heart failure. Multiple outlets relay the same line from law enforcement sources. Not a rumor, it's official. It happened right after the testimony in the police car outside a Moscow Police Directorate. Detention, night of October 2nd, 2025. Court arrest, October 3rd, 2025. Witness dies after detention. Cause, heart failures. Who is Sulimanov and why it matters? If you've bought a plane ticket inside Russia in the last decade, you've brushed against Sulimanov's world. He is the beneficiary behind Sirena Travel, the booking backbone through which up to 80% of domestic tickets are reserved. That concentration of data, money flows, and leverage is strategic and very political. He also turns up as one-time business partner of the Senator Suleiman Kerimov. Yes, that's the guy who Chechnyan leader Ramzan Kadyrov sweared blood vendetta against. Also, he is the son-in-law of Platon Lebedev from the Yukos orbit. This isn't just another businessman. It is the node connecting aviation infrastructure, elite finance, and state power. The pattern: falls and heart failures. If this were an isolated incident, I wouldn't be making today's video. But it's a part of months-long pattern. Independent outlets have been tracking a wave of sudden deaths among the officials and business executives. Fell from a window, suicide, acute heart failure. In July, Andrei Badalov, the vice president of Transneft, one of Russia's oil companies, large one, died after a fall from a window in his home. In July, the active federal minister of transportation, Roman Starovoyt, was found dead under extremely mysterious circumstances. It was reported that he was found dead in different locations by the officials, first in his house, then in his car, then he was found dead. Later they reported outside the car a few meters. Very mysterious circumstances. In August, Mikhail Kenin, the founder of the largest shareholder of Russia's biggest real estate developer, Samolyot Group, was found dead. Acute heart failure. In late September, Ex-St. Petersburg public transportation head Alexander Fedotov was found in Moscow below a hotel window where he stayed on the top floor. This didn't happen in the past. This is this summer and last week. There have been 13 such mysterious deaths just across energy and transport since 2022. 2 in July 2025 alone, Badalov and then active transport minister Roman Starovoyt. Whether you accept each official explanation or not, probably not, the frequency and the position of the people involved are the story. Why now? The logic of quiet purges. Authoritarian systems don't always announce purges. They reallocate assets and silence liabilities. Russia's war economy is squeezing every rent stream. Oil, logistics, aviation, state IT infrastructure and companies, you name it. Control over a booking monopoly like Sirena Travel means control over fees, data, over who gets access, and who gets cut out. Just this week, online travel agencies, multiple travel agencies, filed antitrust complaint about Sirena Travel contract shifts that would raise their cost by roughly 10%. A normal business move because of the inflation and toughening market conditions? Well, many companies don't think so, and they started attacking Sirena Travels, and all of a sudden, the beneficiary of Sirena Travels gets arrested. That's real money and leverage in a shrinking market. That's what it is. At the same time, the legal environment grows harsher. On September 29, 2025, Russia formally withdrew from Europe's anti-torture convention framework. When the state steps back from external oversight, heart failures in custody tend to multiply. The timing is not an accident. It's a green light to the law enforcement agencies, to the siloviki. Now, the mechanics. How a 1937 without posters looks. In the 1930s, the terror was procedural. The arrest warrant, the cell, the confession, the rubber stamp, it all took just a few days. Today's version is bureaucratic and medicalized. A detention for questioning, a sudden health episode, a press line. He fell. She jumped. He had heart issues. Then, silence. What's different is the optics. No mass show trials, no public confessions, just a stream of obituaries of people who never had heart diseases, who were absolutely healthy, but who fell from the first floor. Yes, there was one executive who fell out of a window of his house's basement even. And witnesses who just didn't make it to the police station. Today's case, step by step. Let's zoom back in. Number 1. Night of October 2nd. Sulimanov detained on suspicion of murder from past years. Number 2. October 3rd. Basmanny Court of Moscow approves his arrest for 2 months. Investigators now openly cite 2 contract killings, 1999 and 2004. Number 3. Parallel to that, Abakar Darbyshev, reportedly one of the figures who gave testimony, dies right after the detention. Officially, a heart failure happened in operative's car right next to the police station. Number 4. Reports from court say ambulance was called twice for Sulimanov himself during questioning due to heart problems. That's another familiar script. What to watch next? Witness chain. Do other witnesses or co-defendants experience sudden health events? Track names connected to Darbyshev. As asset path. Does Sirena Travel's control over the booking stack shift to affiliated entities or perhaps temporary managers? Link this to the antitrust companies already filed a complaint. Elite distance. Do the Kerimov networks or former Yukos figures publicly distance themselves from Kerimov? Watch state media framing around these surnames. Legal cover. Any further treaty exists or procedural tweaks that can reduce custody oversight. The anti-torture exit is a canary. Why this is a tipping point? Because it fuses all the elements. A suspect who sits at the switchboard of national aviation bookings. Old murders revived at a politically useful time. A witness who gave accusation testimony dead within hours. Medically explained, politically expedient. And a broader summer to autumn cascade of sudden deaths around transport and energy elites. Regime's structural need to keep money and information centralized as the war drags on, and you get a climate where fear is cheaper than law. That's why this feels like 1937 rewritten for the 21st century. Now, this is my personal angle. This is Inside Russia's Voice. I lived through the late Soviet years and the 1990s. There was chaos, there was crime, but also there was air. The feeling that truth might crawl out and win. Today, it feels different. It's orderly fear. You don't need public executions when a headline about a heart attack or a heart failure will do the same job in every office corridor from Sheremetyevo to Gazprom Bank to Lukoil. People read, they nod, they understand what not to say next, and the scariest thing is people comply. They stay silent and no one is held responsible, not even investigated. No questions are asked by people, and authorities feel absolutely safe. Hey, they've been green-lighted. What this means to ordinary people. When elites are reminded they are disposable, and obviously the messages are very frequent now, everyone below the elites gets the message too. Airlines, IT systems, even regional hospitals, they are run by people now taking quiet oath of silence. Service gets worse, corruption gets meaner, and the country slides from authoritarianism to something colder, administrative terror without any parades. How to read the news in the coming days? And if you see, fell while smoking on a balcony, died en route to questioning, acute heart failure in an otherwise healthy 50-something, don't memorize the cause. Ask, what did they know? What did they control? What did they own? Who benefits now? That is the map. This channel exists so these patterns don't pass as background noise. Please share this video with someone who still thinks today's Russia is stable. Stability doesn't need this many obituaries. I'll keep following the Sulimanov case. The witness chain, the asset path, and the legal cover. And I'll bring to you the facts that we can verify. But this case is just a small episode of the big picture. The Great Terror of the 30s. The darkest page of Russian history in the last 200 years is back. It's new normal. It's accepted. All in Russia understand this new normal, comply, and patiently wait for their own turn. Look what Russia has become. Please stay safe, keep your eyes open, and don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking today's Russia is stable and normal. It is anything but. Thank you for watching. Carthago delenda est.